you burning him in yet? Fucking hope he is, bro. Fuck me. Can't be asked for right wing people anymore. Fucking hell. If I can get some right left wing. Fucking hell. Trump and fucking. Oh, God. Pretty much every leader. Right wing as fuck. You know, nationalising, like fucking, like power and shit. Nationalising, like industry. Fucking love it. I love it. I love that. Not like a career politician. He is a fucking working class. Yes. More money to keep on benefits, which is good. Why isn't the fucking keyboard working? Oh, bro, why is the keyboard not working? What's that? 2 minutes. Please work. Yes. But yeah, people go on benefits. Get everyone off benefits, don't scrounges. But they all know. They've all got family members who are fucking on sick. Who really need help. Is them all off? Is they all off? Your family members fucked, bro. You're gonna pay for all these fucking all the pain and pill, all the not pain pills, all the pills he's on for fucking this, that, and the other, and all this shit. Oh, you're not here. What's happening? Lag, just lag, it just lag. Drink the petrol. 2 minutes. I might show you. That's me pressing really hard, bro. It's like toffee. Honestly, it's like toffee, bro. Ugh. And that is the oldest fuck. I've got another round in there. That's quite fresh. all the shit. Fucking hell, it's like toffee, bro. Fuck. Gone. Fucking hell, bro. It's like toffee. That. Gone. Smoke it. My guitar keeps asking me to do some. I feel bad, man. Would you get me some marijuana? No one says that here. Would you get me some marijuana? I've never had it before in my life, but I was going to give him this. Because obviously, this is why people go wrong. If you're going to smoke weed, don't smoke tobacco if you don't smoke. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I had a whitey. I'm like, did you smoke it in a joint with tobacco? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's the tobacco that made you sick, not the fucking weed. Idiot. Have it in a pipe. Best way to have it. I'm doing a fucking video. Video in right, stop coming in because I'm fucking thingying. Asked you that before. Mom! Here! Come here! I didn't wait till you get downstairs. Here, say hi to Tommy. He's from Brazil.
Where is he? Hi, Tommy. Are you all right, my friend?
He won't reply because he replied, do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's from Brazil. He lives in Amsterdam and he
Hey,
smokes.
what does he think about the mask?
What?
What does he think about the mask? Have a take
I'll
yesterday.
ask him. I haven't talked to him yet. But he's from Brazil and he lives in Amsterdam, so he smokes fucking a million bits of weed. Yeah, from Amsterdam.
He's only hungry for some noodles.
Fuck off. You can't get any better weed than this I've got here. Mum! Shut up then!
Where is he? Hi, Tommy. Are you all right, my friend?
this even working? Fucking hell. Right. No.
Another one bites the dust.
My cameraman. Cameraman. Just behind there. My cameraman. Alright, cameraman. What? Yeah. I don't know the cameraman. Are you fucking mad? There's my camera. Wonky as fuck. But that's the way I like it. About a million fucking white.
couldn't care less if it got there on time, but somehow it does.
He internalized every possible technique used in hip hop and expanded upon it. And he did so with just an intense love and curiosity of sounds, and a lot of patience. If we look back at E equals MC squared, we've got an incredible sub-bassy low end, and a sample from an incredibly off-the-wall song by Giorgio Moroder.
Energy equals MC squared.
You know, something that makes this record stand out is the equal, how he extended it. Because if you just listen to it, it kind of only goes for a few beats, and he was able to extend it as far as he wanted.
Energy equals.
There are so many songs that show J Dilla, who composed some of the most revered beats in hip-hop history.
Technology has just taken a giant leap forward. Hello, I'm Roger Lynn, and this is the MPC-60 MIDI Production Center, created by myself and Akai Profession.
The MPC, it sits in a room amongst the most iconic relics of our country's musical history. And that room is on the 4th floor of the National Museum of African American History in our nation's capital. That MPC was owned by J Dilla, who composed some of the most revered beats in hip-hop history.
Technology has just taken a giant leap forward. Hello, I'm Roger Lynn, and this is the MPC-60 MIDI Production Center, created by myself and Akai Profession.
The MPC is this compact machine that's a holding station for all types of samples, which you can play with 16 touch-sensitive pads. The very first model shipped in 1988 for just a few $1,000s, and it was Akai and Roger Lynn's elaboration on the Lynn drum machine. The concept, though, of taking samples of pre-recorded sound and composing with them existed long before the late 1980s, but those machines were limited by their price and portability.
The MPC was a different beast because it really puts you in the driver's seat in terms of sonic texture that you wanted to have.
That's Brian Radar Ellis, and that's his MPC Renaissance.
You know, really just you make a mess of it. It's a fully customizable machine, whereas you look at maybe like the Lynn drum or the Roland TR-808, which were specifically drum machines, the sounds came preloaded and you couldn't change them.
In short, the MPC-60 was the musical brain of the studio. By 1994, when Akai introduced the MPC-3000, it was the tool of choice for many of the top hip-hop producers in the game, including J Dilla.
I think the thing with Dilla that inspired so many producers is that he was able to use such a wide vocabulary of technique.
J Dilla was a producer out of Detroit in the mid-90s through his early death in 2006 from a rare blood disease. He passed away just 3 days after releasing one of his most fascinating and beloved albums, Donuts. He worked with an astounding list of iconic artists and pulled off the majority of his sound with just a few simple instruments, machines, and samplers, one of them being the MPC.
He knew how to get into every piece of the MPC and use it to a musical advantage.
So let's talk about J Dilla's drums.
Welcome back, Liam. You've qualified for your first Horizon Rush event. Well done. Make your way there, complete the event, and earn that green wristband.
Hey,
What's up, partner?
how are you? Good to see you.
How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you.
You good?
I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you.
Glad it worked. Is this just the one you always do?
Yeah, with Roy and Righty. So they're just coming down now. I'm never go at them because you're here before them. They should be waiting. You should be waiting for us.
Don't worry about it. It's all,
Eh?
good. It's all good. I got here early. It was an easy drive over. My apartment's super close.
So it's a good block, obviously.
It's a beautiful building.
Yeah.
My friend developed it.
Okay.
He lives in the building.
Right.
He's from Boston.
Right.
He named his son Brady.
Ah.
So he's
Tom, you're sat here.
Okay.
You're at the head of the table, Tom.
There's a pool. There's a basketball court.
Right. Gym, everything.
Beautiful gym.
Yeah.
There's a sauna. There's a steam room. But it was good because he's living in it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to buy in that building.
Is it expensive? Yeah. Will be, won't it?
You know what? At the end, like this real estate keeps going up. This city, like when COVID happened,
Yeah.
it was so quiet,
Empty, yeah.
nothing. And then everyone said, "Is New York City going to come back?"
Right.
And then yesterday, you saw New York, and
Oh.
it's a zoo.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never been busier.
Yeah.
So, do you feel when you come over here? Are you like?
Do you know something? We got stuck in the traffic. Me and Roy went to watch the fucking what they called Yankees. Went to watch the
Oh, yeah.
Yankees last night. What do you think of the baseball, by the way? It's
I love it.
We love it.
Yeah, but
It's a hard watch, eh?
oh yeah, it's slow. It's really slow.
We were
but it's
there-
a beautiful stadium,
Oh, it was amazing.
and
the
the
atmosphere,
Yankees are
everything.
the best of the best.
Yeah, yeah. But it's slow, eh?
It's so slow. And it's a long game. They've tried to speed it up.
I know, yeah. Like a timer clock was like
Yeah.
running.
It used to be really long games. Now they're much faster.
Yeah.
There's a long history of baseball in America.
Right.
They call it America's pastime
Okay.
because, like in the 1920s, baseball ruled for like 60 years.
Right.
And then in the 80s, our football started
Yeah, yeah.
coming on. Our football started, it didn't even start professionally.
Right.
Our football started basically in college. And college football is way bigger than pro football in America.
Yeah. What's the big swing then? What was the swing? What was the sort of moment
I
of
think television.
television?
And then television happened, and then American football is incredible
Yeah.
on television.
Yeah.
It's the perfect spectator sport.
Yeah.
And there's only 17 games a season,
Yeah.
so you don't, and it's once a week, and it's on the
compact.
weekend,
Yeah.
and it's a 3-hour commitment,
Yeah.
and the visuals on football, the gladiator aspect, the art and the science of it
Yeah.
really
Makes a big
took over.
difference.
How long have you guys done the show for?
3.5 years, 4
Mm-hmm.
years. Yeah.
Are they all done in the UK?
All in the UK. We've done a few over here. We did 2 earlier on in the week. They do well. You know, we've had David's been on, Rory McIlroy's been on.
Oh, good.
Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, all the boxers, and Usyk.
Yeah.
Who else has been on? I think who's been on? Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, all the big sort of football players. JJ Watt came on.
Oh, good.
He owned Burnley. He came
Yeah.
on. Do you know him or?
Very well.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a good guy, yeah.
Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a great player.
Is he had the most? Because when we were talking to him, he was a defender. He had the most tackles. Is it the most tackles or something? Or
He
one of
was
the?
phenomenal.
Was he?
Most defensive
Blocks.
defensive player of the year awards.
Yeah.
He was incredible.
Yeah.
Just so gifted. That big, that athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, think about him as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't have. It'd have been difficult.
Was that his position? Was he on the end? Was he on the?
He was kind of on the inside of the defensive line,
okay.
and he was way more athletic than everybody he played
Okay.
against. And he's got a brother that's equally as
Oh, he
talented.
said, yeah. Yeah.
So
he
it's
said.
like 2 brothers that are elite
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
Both will make the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Hey, Roy. How you doing, partner?
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to see you too.
Big fan.
How's everything? Same here.
Huge respect. Yeah. You good?
I'm doing great. Yeah.
He's not a big fan of everybody, to be fair, Tom.
Is
So
that right?
for
Why
him
not?
For him to say big fan, that's high praise.
I do a few games, yeah. I've always loved it since I was a kid growing up in Ireland.
Is that right?
There wouldn't be much sports on, but we always had the NFL on a Sunday.
Really?
So yeah.
Why would they have it on in
I'm
Ireland?
not sure, but yeah, good question.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it back in the day.
I'm going to Ireland on Monday, by the way.
How are you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
I'm going to play golf with my dad for 3 days. We're going to Royal County Down,
Right.
and we're going to Portmarnock,
Yeah.
and we're going to Adair Manor.
Oh, cool. Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
It's beautiful over there, though, the golf courses, aren't they?
Oh my God.
Have you played some of the courses?
I think I played Port. Is it Port Rush?
Yeah,
would
the
be, yeah.
northern part, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Right.
Port Rush. Yeah, I think I played Port Rush once. And I played the. David got married in Ireland. What was the castle called? Where David got married, and I played golf there with him.
Yeah,
David.
no, I can never remember it.
What's the name of it? It's like a famous one. But you're sending me, he sent me to Ireland in about a month when I get back to...
I've sent you. I'll
No,
send
not
you
sent-
anywhere. I was just
Ordered me
giving
to
you
go.
places to go.
He's ordered, no,
Ashford Castle.
Ashford Castle.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Is
Yeah.
that golf course
That's
as well?
in Galway, Mayo, on the board of Galway, Mayo. But you have to get the car, Kinsale. Have you heard of golf course in Kinsale?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the Old Head, it's called.
Yeah, Old Head, of course.
It's supposed to be
I played
amazing.
there a while ago.
Did you? Yeah.
Loved it.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm not into golf, but I know about the course, of course, and I like watching
I
it.
was an Irishman not into golf.
It's called, I didn't have the patience for it.
Really?
Yeah. Need a bit of practice and lessons and
Yeah.
yeah.
I've spoken to you about this. Obviously, we did a thing a few weeks ago, but it's what it says the 80-20 diet, and it's like completely transformed. What is that?
I'm pretty good about what I when I started playing, I was like kind of like everyone else, and then I needed to like improve my processes for playing, and then I got good at it, and I met a guy who now runs our health and wellness at the Raiders, who actually runs the health and wellness at Birmingham City too.
Right.
And it's good food, it's the right hydration, the right body work, the right workouts, and I played till I was 45, and we had the lowest injury rates last year. Hi, how you doing? Where are you gone?
We're just finished.
All right. In conclusion, it was great. Thanks for having me. Did you enjoy the show? Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
That's great.
I know. These were my notes on Tom.
Jesus, I went down to get off, and I'm waiting late for Tom Brady. Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Good to see you, buddy. I know. We finished everything.
Ian, Vince Lombardi, be 15 minutes early.
We'll do it again if we need to.
Ian, we were just talking about, actually, you missed the golf bit, but forget that. We just talked about Tom's diet and his 80-20 diet and how he sort of moved from that.
We ate well at the baseball last night. I had 2 hot dogs and some ice cream.
No, that's good.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Is that part of the
As long as you're not
80-20?
playing. Why? So when you guys were playing,
Thanks,
did you have a lot of working out, physical training like they do in American football?
We got a nutritionist. We got a nutritionist in the late 90s, and we were talking about it actually yesterday. He got down to about 5%, 5.5% body fat.
Wow.
Which was like, you said it was too low. He went like into like a complete and utter.
I can be a man of extremes, so that was too low.
Yeah.
And where I was playing in the midfield, I was people were hitting me and I was hitting them, so I was feeling a lot. That was too low, without a doubt.
Where was
Who made you do that, Roy? What happened?
Probably me, because I used to be about when I first went to United, I was about
12, 13 maybe.
No, higher than that now.
Was you?
Yeah, I was about 18 or 19. Yeah, I was carrying a bit.
But you were, to be fair,
that was the Guinness.
But you weren't looking after yourself. You weren't looking after
I wasn't,
yourself.
Gary. No, I wasn't a good pro, but it's not about me, is it? Back off, would you? Right. Yeah, I had some bad habits, Tom. You know what I mean? But as you get older, a bit more mature.
Did you have bad habits? Well, yeah, but we're talking. Yeah,
I grew out of them. I have no bad habits anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Join the club.
I have a lot of bad habits, none of which I'm going to tell them, on camera.
Of course, we don't want that. But like I was saying, that Roy had some bad habits.
Yeah.
Steady on.
All right.
Just
I know.
blame me. Don't blame me.
This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Sky Bet. Before we kick off the show, I want to say a huge thank you to our partners, Sky Bet, who've helped bring you Stick to Football throughout this tournament. Make sure you've liked and subscribed. You do not want to miss what's coming next. Right, let's get into it.
They didn't have a very high projection of what they thought I could become, and a lot of it was because of that combine photo. I wasn't the big.
Do you want to see it?
No, I don't.
We've got it. We've got it.
I'm gonna break the iPad. Come on, Dave, Roy, break the iPad. Thank you. There you go. Guess what? As a 199th pick, I loved beating the first-round picks. How good was that guy in college? I'm gonna kick his ass next. I'd love to learn from you guys. Why do you fire so many coaches all the time? Don't they realize the players play? Every play's a set piece. So if your set pieces are better than theirs.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
Arsenal fan. They've
Just
just won the league through set
They've
pieces.
been phenomenal. When Bill Belichick walked in the room, everyone sat up. He said, "Do your job," is what he said.
Oh, I love that line.
Yeah.
You've just drafted the first pick.
Yeah, we needed a quarterback. Once you're selected, it doesn't matter. Now you're just a member of the team. Now you have to develop him.
Tom fell asleep in the locker room before his first Super Bowl.
For all he said the last hour and a half, he was out the night before.
He's bladdered.
What do you call that?
Bladdered.
Flattered.
Absolutely. Drunk.
I love you, Britt.
We'll talk about baseball.
Go on then.
The first picture we've got here of Tom.
Fuck me.
Is that that's a good
That's
picture.
the worst
Tom.
fucking picture of my life. I mean,
No, Tom, it's a
I'm
great
fighting-
picture.
Yeah, but you can look back now and say,
Tom, we've got worse than this.
was you a good,
So-
was you a good baseball
You're
player?
a
pretty bad.
you're a catcher, weren't you? You're a catcher, weren't you?
Pretty good one too. Yeah.
So you were.
But catcher was a little like playing quarterback. It's you're kind of in charge. You call the pitches. They don't start until you put the glove up.
Right.
You're in the action. Every play's there.
Yeah.
You get to be a little bit of a leader. It's a
Yeah.
pretty tough part of the
Yeah.
field. And like I said, when I grew up, my dad actually got drafted to play professional baseball. All three of my sisters played softball.
Right.
So it's just in our family. And
You know when you say about the catcher, so is he telling the guy what the pitcher
yeah.
what to do? So it's
now
not a
he does.
picture.
It's a little different now. It goes back and forth a lot. When I was playing, the catcher told the pitcher what to throw. There's some really cool stories about coming out. There was one of the greatest baseball pitchers in America named Greg Maddux. He played for the Atlanta Braves. He was dominant in like the 90s. He was incredible. He would call his own pitches, and he would do it when the catcher threw the ball back to him. How he caught the ball would tell the catcher the next pitch he was going to throw.
Wow.
So if he had the glove facing this way, it was a certain thing. It was up. If it was this way, it was one thing, and no one ever picked up on his entire career.
Wow.
Some crazy stories. Now they actually have, because there's a crazy sign stealing thing, like what happened in the championship this year, whatever. They now buzz in, they have like an electronic buzzer. So it basically, like between the catcher and the pitcher, they can hit buttons.
The phone?
That just
on the watch. On the watch, or what?
I don't know exactly the way it works, but it's basically some electronic communication.
Right. Okay.
That doesn't allow signs to happen anymore.
Right.
Do you like that, or do you think that's getting too much, the
technical.
technology with the sport?
You know, I love technology. I know there's like a lot going on with
And there was
VR.
some last night in the baseball, wasn't there? The decision now, and
I think that's amazing.
VAR.
Like when I watch like Wimbledon now, and they rule every ball in or out, like I love that. I mean, I think the guys work so hard year round to train, and you hit a good shot and it's in, and they call it out and you lose, and we have the technology to actually improve it. Well, why would you not do it? It's like if it's instantaneous and the flow of the game happens, why would you not take advantage of the technology? Which I think, like in American football, technology is really important in the game because things happen so quick. And I think there's always a part between like protecting traditions versus innovating to make the game better for the fans and for the players. So,
but them sports are more stop-start. That's the frustrating thing in England, and everyone likes the fast pace.
Yes.
So in American football, for example, or even the tennis, it is stop-start, isn't it? A lot of that sport, where soccer is, football is. So when they slow it down, it's frustrating. Like last night when they were making them decisions, we were cool out, weren't we?
Yeah.
Take your time. It's the baseball.
Yeah.
But in England, they don't.
but where they got to go anyway? I mean, what's the rush? Why are we?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I liked about the baseball last night.
Would you rather get it right, or would you
Yeah, I
rather?
suppose so. But it's just what they're used to.
Yeah. Our technology devices. We love the innovation in our cars. We love the innovation in so many parts of our life. But in sports, sometimes in the new.
We're going to go to obviously the start of your career where you're, I think, 199th pick draft out of 225 or
250, something like
250?
that. Yeah.
How did innovation change from that moment to the end of your career, which obviously is mid-40s? What's the sort of biggest changes through that career in technology? What happened in NFL?
The most substantial change, I think, in the NFL from when I started to now is the contact aspect of the sport, which I kind of appreciated the physicality. And I would say most sports, the physicality is much different now than it was
of course,
when we all started playing.
Yes.
But I think there's like physical toughness is the only thing to me that can beat skill. Because if you just make it a skills competition, then the best athletes will always find a way to win. But if you can make it a toughness competition, who's tough with skill, then I think the toughness can sometimes overtake that. And I think just because of people being really conscientious about head injuries, and it's not my favorite thing to talk about. I think that like part of what you sign up for as an athlete is you're willing to take more risks than what other people are willing to take. And I played, and I've been around a lot of NFL athletes. Michael Strahan's one of my great friends. He's on TV with me. Rob Gronkowski, guys that played in the certain area of tough football. We're great. You know what I mean? We work hard. We took care of ourselves. We look back at our careers and take more risks than what
it's time to start thinking about the summer transfer window. Yes, the World Cup is on, and maybe we thought about the summer transfer window on previous episodes. You'll have to go back and listen. We're over on YouTube. Dropping a like and a subscription on there would be fantastic. And you can also find us on other podcast sites if you don't want to see the videos. However, we know that we're going to have to box quite clever this summer because we're still under financial regulations and we're getting into the Champions League. They're that bit stricter. So, market. No, it's not a market that Unai Choice right back is starting.
In the football career, you go through a lot ups and downs and a lot of difficult moments. And let's say the ones that suffered most are family. They see your good moments, your bad moments, your good side, your bad side also. But they always stand by you.
Your time at Manchester United's been a bit of a roller coaster like this. And so on that day when you get a big offer to leave Manchester United for a contract that was worth reportedly 200 million, why didn't you go? Manchester United's captain, Bruno Fernandes, has arguably become their greatest player in the post-Ferguson era. There isn't a single player in the Premier League who has more assists since his arrival. He's won more Club Player of the Year awards than Ronaldo, and only 5 players have scored more than his 70 league goals. So I'm at the Manchester United training ground to ask him the questions the footballing world wants to know, including... Recently, Roy Keane criticised your mentality based on a quote he claimed you said. How do you respond to that?
He can criticizing me, killing me, say that I'm not good enough, that I'm not a good captain, that I'm not a good player for the club. It's okay, I don't mind. What I don't like was when people lie about things. I even asked Ole his number to have a word with him.
Did you speak to him? Bruno, to understand somebody, I always think you have to start with where they started and the early context that they grew up in. And we were just talking before we started recording about Porto. I'm on a journey to understand why you are the way that you are, because you're such an anomaly on the pitch. And your career, when I tracked the journey of where you've come from and how you continually were promoted and pushed forward at a very young age, it's clear to me that your early context, your early upbringing, and whatever it was that was present at that age has shaped you in some very, very important way. What is the sort of earliest thing I need to understand about where you came from and that environment?
For me, it's all about family. It's about taking care of other people. And I think to succeed, not just in sports, but in life, you need to be very careful of your surroundings. So I think the values of my family, the values of my parents were what make me the person and the player I am today.
The older I've gotten, I'm now 33, so I think I'm 2 years older than you, the more I've realized actually with time what I learned from my parents and like the values that my dad in particular gave me. For a lot of the things, it's not something he ever said to me. It's like modeling what he did. So seeing how he behaved.
Yeah.
What's that for you?
It's kind of the same, you know, like my father was never a person to show his emotions too much or tell you what to do or how to do it. He would just do it, and you would understand by his behavior, by the way he does things, that that was his way of showing us how he has to be doing. Was never a person of like hugging, kissing and stuff. He's got now into that. Even when I come out of games and stuff, you see, like I always get his hug, I always get his kiss, and this is something that as a kid, I knew how much he loved me, but in these small aspects was always my mom giving this kind of love. He was more in the way of he was showing how things have to be done, how much you have to sacrifice yourself to certain things. My dad was very strong with me in terms of like games. Mm-hmm. Imagine I could come out of a game scoring 2-3 goals or whatsoever, and my parents My dad, in this case, will always pick up the bad moments I had in games to make me understand that was good, but wasn't great. There's always margin to improvement. It's always small things. And I think I've learned from such a young age to deal with criticism that I'm now probably in one of the biggest clubs in terms of like getting criticism and attention. That doesn't hurt me. Like, I don't like it. Obviously, no one likes to get criticized, but it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't change the way I behave. It doesn't change the way I want to do things. But from the other side, it makes me understand there is still things to improve. And I listen to that, and I look at my game, and I see if it's needed of changing, of improvement in my game. And my dad was always very strong in that with me. And I see nowadays the parents, my dad never wanted me to be a footballer.
Good afternoon, UK, and good morning from us here in New York. You're listening to Jim White and Simon Jordan. Alongside us, Troy Deeney, and we are live on Talk Sport. So, the feast of World Cup action continues, but when it comes to player sacrifice, should it always be football before family or family before football? Meanwhile, Newcastle turned down £75 million from Tottenham for Tonali. Is Newcastle to Spurs a step up? Also today, Itoma versus Hrgovic is announced. Both fighters will be joining us live. Gary O'Neill to Ipswich. Does it enhance their survival credentials? Red cards for covering the mouth. A necessary evil. Plus, are Scotland simply not brave enough come major tournaments like this one? It's Jim White, Simon Jordan, Troy Deeney, and we are live on Talk Sport. Good morning from New York. Good afternoon to you all back in the UK. Bit of rain here later on. We're not used to that, but we're certainly getting used to this wonderful city. Simon alongside me. How was your weekend? How was Rhode Island?
Very nice, very warm, yes. Bumped into, tragically for me, a legion of Scottish fans.
What, on the train?
No, in Rhode Island, in a very small little village, a little town called Bristol, which has a population of 23,000 people. There was a bunch of your lot there.
Okay, how were they?
They were very pleased to see me.
Well, I mean...
I learned another version of my full name.
Troy, he doesn't actually realise this, but you do know you're very popular with them. Because whenever... I'm serious. Whenever we've come across Scots here in New York... Hi, Jim, where's Simon? Where's Simon?
Yeah.
Where's Simon?
Okay.
Honestly, Troy.
I think everyone loves him, but a bit like us, they love to hate him. So it's, you're a lovely
very
guy.
good. Yes,
you are a nice guy.
Thank you, Troy. Just tell Michelle that once, would you?
Michelle, if you're listening, love this man, please. Here's the thing, Troy, what happened at the weekend? And I'm talking specifically about your lovely daughter.
Yeah, little visit to urgent care. So she was 12 on Friday, decided to play a game of football for NYCFC. Gets pushed to the back, broken arm. So Father's Day was spent, Father's Day was spent in urgent care. And then all the treats that we were going to have all out the window, sitting down watching Minions last night. So, all good, but she's on the mend.
Oh, no.
1 week left of school, 5 weeks in a cast. What more does she want?
In a cast. We call it in Scotland a stookie. But there we are. Is she up and about this morning?
She go, well, she better be going to school if you're watching, so off to school.
All right. Isla, we send you our best. Everybody here at TalkSport sends you their very best, Isla. I hope you're on the mend very soon. Here's the thing, Simon. Back home, another sacking, not in football. Keir Starmer has resigned as Prime Minister earlier today. That's the news that came through to us here in this side of the pond, announcing a new leader would be in place by September after a leadership contest. How do you view this, Simon? Does he go down as one of the most unpopular Prime Ministers ever?
Yes, I think it's almost impossible to govern in this day and age because you have so many different peculiarities and nuances. Whilst I'm not a fan of him, I don't think I think it's very interesting when you take over something, if you haven't got a plan, it's very easy to be in opposition. It's very easy to be a football manager without actually having the responsibility of it. And there's an irony about my position on this set of circumstances. In football world, we would fire a manager. If you're going to fail fast and get rid of them quick and move on, right?
Yeah.
In this instance, I'm actually for the policy of fixed-term governments because you can't keep on changing prime ministers. You can't. If this Andy Burnham character comes in, who, by the way, just look at his record in government, it's not exactly exciting, despite the fact he's been decent in Manchester, which is an easy job to do when all you're doing is pleasing the local people with the things that they want. You know, you now got the situation where he's going to be elected as a Labour leader, potentially with no mandate. No doubt about it, he'll probably want to raise taxes. So they'll probably have a general election and we'll have some ridiculous situation where the lunatic Green Party will do a deal with the Labour Party and we'll have absolute chaos in our country. So not good. Not good.
I mean, that's your opinion. I knew you'd be strong on it. I know it's only 8 minutes past 8 in the morning here in New York. I haven't lost my mind. Could you do the job? I mean it. Look, you and I are always out, back in London, even over here.
Yeah. Which is the polar opposite of football.
The talk, you can listen to both on the TalkSport app. All you have to do is to download it is swipe between all the stations, not the nations, all the stations on our network. A lot to get through this morning, and we'll start now. Troy, a feast of football over the weekend. The USA made it 2 wins from 2, dispatching Australia, who were pretty terrible, it's fair to say. The US fans around us, and we were in a big sort of brassy bar place, Buddy's Sports Bar, something else, that place. And the Americans were loving it. The Americans were loving it. Are they right to believe at this stage?
Yeah, at this moment in time, of course they are. They're top of the group. Obviously, Turkey have been terrible as well. No one would have ever said that because they would have really been going into this game expected, okay, can this get us through? And they've handled the occasion fantastically well. They've been very bright, very quick and athletic, which I enjoy. But when they beat Australia, they were 2-0 up and they got into this really weird space of, do we sit back, do we go? Do we sit back, do we go? And you know Pochettino loves everyone on the front foot. And I just thought they didn't manage the game great. But all in all, bigger picture, top of the group, they're through. They can rest some people who are on yellow cards, because obviously that would carry over. Pulisic gets an extra week to rest up. It's been great for the US, but Turkey have been terrible, so have Paraguay. So it's been a nicer group than first off would have imagined.
Well, I was with a lot of Americans and a lot of my friends there in Rhode Island, and their kids are big football fans. So the level of excitement for the US to be playing at a certain level of standard. It was interesting to watch because Tony Popovich, who used to play for me as the Australian manager, and watching Tony trying to make sense of what his team were doing. They'll probably qualify Australia, and so everyone will have done their jobs. And there was some confected rivalry between the two teams because of various observations that commentators have made about this as being a layup of a game. But the Americans, you would expect Pochettino to have an impact and to create a better outcome. With due respect to Greg Berhalter, he set a platform and the American team was getting better and better and better. This is probably the best version of the American team we've seen, you know, since American football became prevalent, or our version of it in terms of football, not rather than soccer. They are going to get dealt with when they come up against the major opposition.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I do think it's good for the tournament. I think a home nation, with the scale of this country and the interest of this country, having a team that participates and performs in it to a reasonably high level, I think is a good thing.
I'll tell you what, Simon, the Americans around us, and I know it's easy to say it, they were getting swept away watching that game against Australia and watching the win. But they think they can go seriously deep in it. We had one coming up to us, Troy, and saying, this is our time. We can win this thing. I mean, they can't, can they?
No, they're a bit like you after Scotland when they got a little bit too high. And then they need people like us just to bring them down a level or two, just to get to where it's at. But there is a way in which...
Yellow card.
There's a way in which I think they can play England in the quarterfinals. Now, that would be amazing, not only for US football fans to realise where they're at when we slap them all over the place. But the second part to that is, from the intrigue, the media, it'd be a great observation to watch. So I just think when you look at it, it's great for where the US soccer is, as they call it out here. Yeah. Again, my daughter's playing. You see every single week, grassroots football out here is massive. And obviously they pay a lot of money to play it as well.
Sure.
But this will only grow it. This will only grow it.
Well, the fact they're doing well, Simon, it might change the European perception. and even if you like snobbery towards American soccer, if they do go deep and continue to surprise us.
Well, if we say it's snobbery, that will be seeded in the fact that they play domestic football without relegation. So there's this European attitude towards how football should be constructed, that relegation is part and parcel of it. If you look at the standard of their domestic football, MLS, it is poor, and it relies on overseas players to be able to make it look, reasonably decent. But we do know that there is a proliferation of American players, more American players playing around Europe. So it shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, come on now. Despite the fact that Pochettino looks like he swallowed an Argo and is packing the pounds on because he's been over here for a while eating American ribs,
There's nothing wrong with that.
He is a decent manager, a high-level manager. So there's nothing more. I would have expected the Paraguayans to be better, the Australians to be better. Now, I don't want to denigrate the Americans' achievement, but they haven't played opposition that's particularly that good. Let's see when they land against them. Now, we saw them in Qatar, and to be honest, they were better than England in that game. And if they'd had somebody up top that had a bit more clinical, they might have made England embarrassed in that Qatar World Cup. But they'll listen. I'm pleased that they're in this competition, that they're doing well, that they've qualified, because I think it makes background noise.
It keeps it front and centre in the news as well, which is
just on what you were saying, though, look how many of them are playing in the top leagues, in Champions League football. There's not one or two anymore.
No, it's 5, 6, 7, 8,
Right.
8 of their team are all playing in Champions League football, so they're no mugs.
1:15. When we come back, I'm going to put this question out before we hit the first break. Should it always be football before family, or family before football? We'll get to that. You're listening to Jim White, Simon Jordan, Troy Deeney. We're live on TalkSport this Monday morning here in New York, Monday afternoon back in the UK, in partnership with Toolstation. First stop, Toolstation.
Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. England versus Ghana preview.
I'm sure it will be. Right, the World Cup. England were brilliant in the first game as well, weren't they?
Amazing.
Against Croatia. What did you make of it?
And here comes Hurst. He's got some fiddler on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. It's 4.
England are world champions. The country that gave football to the world had finally conquered it. But that was the last time. After that, every tournament began the same way. Expectation, a good side, a chance. Yet more often than not, it ended the same way too. A single moment, a decision, a game that turned. And over time, those moments started to add up. This is the story of England's long hurt. The hope that kept returning, and the pain that never quite left. In the January of 2006, shortly after the FA announced that Sven-Göran Eriksson would leave following the World Cup, they launched a very public pursuit of Luis Felipe Scolari. The Brazilian had knocked out England in the 2002 World Cup and again with Portugal in the 2004 Euros. Yet Scolari turned the job down, uneasy about the English media and the language barrier, and the FA's insistence on an answer before the tournament had even begun. The FA turned to an English solution. Steve McLaren, Eriksson's assistant, had interviewed well and was given the job. He came with a solid reputation. He had won the League Cup with Middlesbrough and had taken them all the way to the UEFA Cup final. But doubts remained. Many wondered whether he had the personality and the authority to lead the national team at the highest level. And some already felt he was overly confident in his own abilities. And England were eliminated once again by Scolari's Portugal in the 2006 World Cup. And as Sven gave his farewell speech to the players, McLaren then addressed the team himself. He thanked Eriksson for his work and added that he would invite him to the final in 2 years' time. Sven later called the remark highly inappropriate. McClaren, though, was full of self-belief. The media, well aware he was not the first choice, quickly dubbed him second choice Steve. David Beckham stepped down as captain.
It has been an honour and a privilege to have captained our country, and I want to stress that I wish to continue to play for England and look forward to helping both the new captain and Steve McClaren in any way I can.
McClaren handed the armband to John Terry. Then, in his first squad announcement, he left out Beckham, as well as Sol Campbell. I spoke to David, McClaren said, and I told him I was planning for the future, to change things and go in a different direction, though I would never close the door. The Euro 2008 qualifying placed England in a difficult group with Russia and Croatia, but they were still expected to top it comfortably. They started with 2 wins, but then the problems quickly surfaced. Disappointing goalless draw at home to Macedonia at Old Trafford was then followed by a trip to Zagreb. McClaren switched to a back three, and England looked static and lethargic, and Croatia took the lead.
In by Niko Kovac. It's Eduardo, it's in! England are behind in Zagreb.
And then an infamous back pass by Gary Neville sealed England's fate.
Oh my goodness! Oh! Have you ever seen anything like that? England are 2-0 down.
A 0-0 draw away to Israel came next, and although they eventually beat Andorra away, fans had already turned against McClaren.
There's a great determination now to prove a lot of people wrong. And gentlemen, if you want to write whatever you want to write, you can write it, because that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Then, after 6 long years of taking a national team on the road, playing at club grounds up and down the country in what many called England on tour, the new Wembley Stadium was finally ready. It was a big moment for English football.
Good evening, welcome to the first full international at the new Wembley. We've got a full house on a summer's evening and it's England versus Brazil. He was never going to miss this one, was he?
McClaren recalled David Beckham, and his trademark free kick was headed home by John Terry for the very first England goal under the new arch. Brazil, however, equalised in the 90th minute, but the night carried a real sense of occasion and a fresh hope. And Beckham remained in the side, and in the next game delivered 2 assists in a 3-0 win over Estonia. England then picked up solid home wins against Israel and Russia. A victory away in Moscow would have virtually guaranteed qualification.
And here's Rooney! Oh, what a goal! Wayne Rooney has conceded the penalty. It was outside the penalty area, and England are behind in a game they must not lose.
That left Russia just 2 points behind with a game in hand. Their fate was in their own hands. But then Russia slipped up, losing 2-1 away to Israel. And suddenly, England were back in control. All they needed was a single point at home against Croatia at Wembley. The squad, however, was badly hit by injuries. Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen were unavailable up front, and the entire first-choice back four, Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry and Ashley Cole, were all missing. It was a heavily weakened team for such a crucial night. Despite those absences, McClaren still raised eyebrows with his team selection and tactics. He had tinkered with formations regularly at the start of his tenure, before eventually settling on a 4-4-2 that had served him well for the previous 10 games. Yet for this decisive match, he abandoned it, switched to a more cautious 4-1-4-1, with Peter Crouch isolated as the lone striker. And to widespread surprise, he also left out David Beckham on the bench and dropped Paul Robinson, England's number 1 for 3 years, in favour of 22-year-old Scott Carlson for his competitive debut. The game could not have started any worse. Just 8 minutes in
the centre, Panchar will shoot from here. Oh, it's gone right through!
that slipped horribly under the body of Scott Carlson. 14 minutes in, and Eduardo played Olic in, and it was 2-0. McClaren reacted at the break. David Beckham and Jermaine Defoe were on, and switching to a 4-4-2. And it looked like the subs would save the day. Jermaine Defoe winning a penalty, and Frank Lampard converting. Then Beckham, once again, with a superb cross and Crouch.
In the centre, Crouch, surely, yes, yes! Peter Crouch has done it for England!
And for a brief moment, qualification was back in England's hands. Until it wasn't.
Petric again. Oh, he scored! Extraordinary! It's the substitute Petric!
And just like that, it was over.
Are out of the European Championships.
England had failed to qualify for the 2008 Euros. First time they had missed a major tournament since '94.
The last time England lost a competitive game here at Wembley, Kevin Keegan resigned. Steve McLaren, days are numbered, do you think?
Probably. I don't think he'll resign. I think he'll have to be asked to leave rather than resign. I think the pressure will be just unbelievable for him to stay on now, and no, it wouldn't surprise me if the FA were to end his term.
It wasn't just the defeat; it was the manner of the defeat.
Yeah,
they played like right from when they lost the first goal, they played like a team of strangers.
Steve McLaren was sacked the following day. The newspapers were merciless, and the image that would define his entire reign, McLaren on the touchline in the pouring rain, sheltering on a large umbrella, became the perfect, painful symbol of a campaign that had slowly and sadly unravelled. The 14th of December 2007, Fabio Capello was announced as England's new manager. With Sven and Steve McLaren, who were deemed too lax, informal and too nice, the FA did a 360 and went for a strict disciplinarian, as the players were perceived to have too much power. Capello had come with an impressive CV in club football: AC Milan, Roma, Juve and Real Madrid. But Capello's English was limited. He also arrived with his own Italian backroom staff, and the rules soon followed. No butter or ketchup at meal times. Players to wear suits to team meetings. The message was clear. The players were no longer running the show. Capello was. He spent 9 months using friendlies to impose his methods. And John Terry was made permanent captain. And for the start of the qualifying, the 2010 World Cup brought an immediate chance for revenge, as Croatia were in the same group. And in Zagreb, and England delivered in style, thrashing Croatia 4-1 with a memorable hat-trick from teenage star Theo Walcott.
Walcott on the move, on a hat-trick. Theo Walcott to round off a goal.
The next test would be at home against Ukraine, and Terry would score with 5 minutes to remain to give England the win. The impressive wins were mounting as Croatia came to Wembley, and England produced an even better result, with Lampard and Gerrard taking it in turns to score a brace each. And Rooney finishing off. England had qualified comfortably the South African World Cup. But just like always with England, the off-field problems began before the tournament had even started. Just months before South Africa, John Terry was stripped of the captaincy after it emerged he had allegedly had an affair with Wayne Bridges' ex-girlfriend. The story dominated the back pages for weeks. Rio Ferdinand took the armband, but he suffered a serious injury and was ruled out just before the tournament. So Steven Gerrard was handed the captaincy. For Rooney, going into the World Cup, he was in fine form, as he had his best goal-scoring season, and the English press suggested England were in an easy group. For Capello, he had decisions to make, as he was undecided who would start in goal. David James, Joe Hart and Robert Green in the squad, and the first game would be against United States, and Capello would start with Robert Green, and Gerrard would get England off to a perfect start.
Just beyond him, but it will come for Heskey, and here's Steven Gerrard, and England take the lead!
However, Capello's decision will come back to bite him.
Stars of the Confederations Cup, testing Green again, oh, what an error! What an...
And England were poor and had nothing in the second half, and the game ended 1-1. And in the second game against Algeria, Capello would change goalkeepers, but the game was dire, 0-0.
Cape Town, another poor performance from England.
And be best remembered for Rooney's frustration.
Nice to see your home fans booing you. That's what we're supporting.
The newspapers tore into Rooney the next day, and the team, as the performances were deemed shameful. England would win the last game 1-0 and did just enough and finished second in the group, which would mean they'll face a tougher draw in the second round against Germany. The impressive performances in qualifying already felt like a distant memory. England had been poor throughout the group stage, and any hope that they might improve once the knockout rounds began was fading fast. It's true that knockout football can often bring the best out of teams. After all, reigning champions Italy and strong favourites France had both been eliminated in the group stage, so getting out of the group is no small task. But in England's case, the rhythm simply wasn't there, and against Germany, they started slowly and found themselves 2-0 down.
The second was lethal.
Upson pulled one back.
Gerrard in now. Upson! 2-1! Lampard! Brilliant! It was in now! That surely crossed the line! It's not been given! Oh, it's so far in!
And England went in half-time trailing 2-1, and really they should have been level. And in the second half, they chased the equaliser, but Germany countered ruthlessly and put England out their misery, running out 4-1 winners.
Are going home, and they're going home on the end of the England team's heaviest defeat in World Cup finals history.
England were poor in the whole World Cup, although Capello was resolute and little things that could have gone England's way. And England did what England do, qualify with ease for the 2012 Euros. However, in February, Capello would resign as the FA went over his head and stripped John Terry of the captaincy, following alleged racial abuse directed at Rio Ferdinand's brother, Anton, in a match against QPR. Capello felt the decision should have been his to take. After Capello's resignation, there was a notable sense of relief around the England camp. The strict, authoritarian Italian experiment had finally come to an end. Most fans wanted Harry Redknapp, the charismatic, attacking football man who was still riding high at Tottenham. But the FA, still scarred by the clashes and power struggles of the Capello years, chose to play it safe. They went for Roy Hodgson. Hodgson arrived as the ultimate safe pair of hands, a well-travelled, experienced coach who had earned respect across Europe. He had taken Switzerland from 83rd in the world rankings all the way up to 3rd, and guiding them to the 94 World Cup and Euro 96, and worked at Inter Milan in the 90s, and done impressive jobs at West Brom and Fulham, most notably taking Fulham all the way to the Europa League final in 2010. However, his short and difficult 6-month spell at Liverpool had raised questions. It hinted that perhaps he lacked the final bit of stature and intensity required for one of the biggest and most demanding jobs in world football. The Euro 2012 will be held in Poland and Ukraine, and it will be Hodgson's first test, but it was widely reported in the build-up that expectations were much lower than usual. The so-called golden generation was coming to an end, and the squad was hit by injuries, and Hodgson only had a matter of weeks to prepare the team. England's first game was against France, a side still recovering from their own disastrous 2010 World Cup, and the match was poor and ended with a 1-1 draw. Afterwards, Scott Parker was honest. I don't know if you can win tournaments playing like that, but it was a good foundation for us. Next up was Sweden. In a pulsating game, England took the lead through Carroll.
And it's Carroll! What a goal!
But then found themselves 2-1 down.
Through he can! They lead!
Before Theo Walcott, introduced from the bench at half-time, changed the game, scoring an equaliser and creating the winner.
There's the clip it across! Welbeck! England lead again!
And England won 3-2 in a thrilling comeback. The returning Wayne Rooney headed England into the quarter-finals with a 1-0 win over co-hosts Ukraine. It was a scrappy game, marred by a controversial disallowed goal for Ukraine. And in the last 8, England faced Italy. They put in a disciplined defensive performance for most of the game. Pirlo produced a masterclass in midfield. And after a 0-0 draw, it went to penalties. And England were knocked out once again on spot kicks.
Diamante and Italy are in the semi-finals.
However, many felt England had probably gone as far as could be expected. Captain Steven Gerrard summed up the mood. We're all hurt and disappointed, but everyone's given their best. It's a better team than 2 years ago, and I think we've performed to a better level than in previous tournaments. Hodgson now had time to prepare his team, and he had an impressive run, with England qualifying for the World Cup in Brazil in 2014, and they even beat Brazil at Wembley in a strong friendly.
And Frank Lampard doing what Frank Lampard does, scoring from midfield.
For years, the Three Lions had relied on the golden generation for far too long. The players who'd followed largely failed to reach those heights. Now a fresh, younger group had emerged. It looked like the start of a new chapter. Different names, different energy. Many people genuinely felt this could be the beginning of something exciting. Even if, in hindsight, several of these players would not fully deliver on their early promise. The issue, however, was timing. Most of them were still developing, and for quite a few, 2014 World Cup had come probably too soon. The press had already set expectations low. Just getting out the group would be considered a success. Yet on the 12th of May, Hodgson declared, "I believe this squad can win the World Cup." At 28, Wayne Rooney remained the focal point and still the main man, but the reality was sobering. Since his explosive breakout at the Euro 2004, he had gone 2 World Cups without scoring. The defining tournament moment England were waiting for had never arrived. And the group they were drawn into? Group of death. Italy, who had knocked them out at Euro 2012, and Uruguay, semi-finalists from the previous World Cup, and a dangerous Costa Rica side with nothing to lose. And for the opening game, it was Italy once again. This time, though, the performance was much better than 2 years earlier at the Euros. But England will find themselves 1-0 down. Before Sturridge levelled almost immediately after. And Balotelli headed the winner. No, England lost 2-1, but it was a promising display that gave them real confidence heading into the next match. This was the must-not-lose game. They faced a familiar foe in Luis Suarez, a Liverpool striker in red-hot form, and Suarez scored early for Uruguay.
In towards Suarez! It just had to be Luis Suarez.
But Rooney levelled it with his first ever World Cup goal.
Dangerously, finds a cross,
And England went looking for a winner. And they were caught. A long ball from the keeper, a glancing flick on from Gerrard. And Suarez pounced to score the winner.
Suarez is 2-1 down by Luis Suarez, just as they were down by Mario Balotelli on Saturday night. The devil they know.
What went wrong, Glenn?
Well, I think we've been beaten by a world-class finisher. I mean, at the other end, we've got ourselves in both games, Italy and this game, in situations where if we had a finisher like that, we've won both games. We had hold of the game and we lose the game off a schoolboy error. That is something, a long punt from a goalkeeper in this day and age, you just shouldn't be giving goals
any
away
day and
like
age. And with confirmation of England's elimination before the Costa Rica game, goalless draw for the final group game. 1 point, bottom of the group. England's worst World Cup performance since 1958. Despite the early exit, Roy Hodgson refused to resign, and the FA continued to back him. Former England winger Chris Waddle didn't hold back with his verdict. The Premier League is a great advert for our football, but it does our national team no good whatsoever. With Hodgson retained as manager, England had a strong qualifying campaign, winning all 10 of their matches. They topped the group comfortably, but England had performed well in qualifiers for the last 4 major tournaments. But as fans knew, results didn't always translate to success in the actual tournament. And the Euro 2016 also expanded from 16 to 24 teams, and after low expectation from recent tournaments, belief around the England squad had risen again. Young players like Sterling and Wilshere gained valuable experience at the World Cup 2014 in Brazil, alongside exciting new talents such as Dele Alli. One of the big issues in the previous tournament had been a lack of firepower up front. That looked to have finally changed, with Harry Kane scoring 25 league goals and Jamie Vardy's 24, and with Vardy coming off the back of winning the Premier League. with Leicester City. This combination gave England a real goal threat. Wayne Rooney had taken the captain's armband since the last World Cup, and Hodgson would deploy him in midfield in a 4-3-3, with Kane as the lone striker. And England were impressive in their first game, but conceded late and drew 1-1 with Russia. The team remained unchanged for the second match against Wales. And Gareth Bale scored first.
And strike brilliantly! Gareth Bale with a moment of absolute magic!
Hodgson, fearing another early group exit, made key changes at half-time, bringing on Vardy and Sturridge.
Cahill couldn't get off the floor! Vardy's there! England are level! Vardy's in the area. Dele Alli, Daniel Sturridge! Sturridge scores!
And the super subs worked for Hodgson. But England drew the final group game with a changed team and finished second in the group. But Lady Luck appeared to be on England's side, as the media portrayed their round of 16 opponent, Iceland, as a favourable matchup. And the game started well, and this should have been straightforward, but it became England's darkest hour.
It's headed on and a chance for Alisson! Sigurdsson has equalised!
No problem, start again, keep dominating, keep getting pressure on the Iceland back four. The only thing that they have got is the big boy up front, Sigurdsson, who really, Sigthorsson.
Oh, my word.
Oh.
Talk us through that, Steve. I think we know what's happened, but talk us through it.
Moment for Joe Hart. There's going to be a stain on the reputation of all the England players involved here tonight as they face an early exit from another tournament. Roy Hodgson's position is surely untenable. It's difficult to think of anything quite as humbling as this defeat, certainly in living memory, but this is the most abject failure that I can recall.
Well, that was the worst performance I've ever seen from an England team, ever.
I agree with everything Alan just said there, but embarrassing.
Roy Hodgson resigned immediately after the Iceland defeat. The last 10 years had been a slow decline for England, and this felt like rock bottom. Fan apathy had sunk to new depths, and the FA's previous three managers in Steve McClaren, Fabio Capello and Roy Hodgson had all been seen as failures. The fans were losing belief and interest, and the Football Association knew they needed to rebuild trust and lift the nation. They considered experienced coach Arsene Wenger, while Gareth Southgate had been coaching the England under-21 team for 3 years. However, Southgate's senior management experience was very limited, and the fans' favourite was Sam Allardyce, a big, no-nonsense manager known for keeping struggling clubs in the Premier League. Just weeks earlier, he had saved Sunderland from relegation, and many saw him as the man to bring results, even if his style of football was often criticised as defensive and ugly. Allardyce was appointed England manager in July 2016. He'd won his first game, a 1-0 win against Slovakia. Then just 22 days later came one of the most embarrassing moments in English football history. Newspapers revealed that Allardyce had been caught in a secret undercover sting operation by the Daily Telegraph. He was filmed discussing ways to get around the FA rules on third-party ownership of players, in exchange for a deal of £400,000, with what turned out to be a fake company. The next day, the FA acted quickly, and Allardyce left his position by mutual consent. Brought down by his own greed, Sam Allardyce was England manager for just 67 days and one match. The FA turned to Gareth Southgate as temporary manager. Very few realised it at the time, but it would prove to be a decision that would change the course of the England national team. The former England defender, still remembered by many for missing that penalty in Euro '96, began steadily as interim manager, with 2 who meant everything. I'm a very proud Englishman, and I said it before, that to play for my country was my only goal as a kid. So now to be managing and leading my country to a World Cup is an extra special moment. England were drawn against Belgium, Tunisia.
We haven't had you both together for a while, so while you're both here, we noticed you've been talking a lot. Do you miss him?
Sí, yo se lo
¿Sí?
dije en su momento, era lindo
Llores
tenerlo.
mucho por Cristiano. Messi versus Ronaldo.
There's simply been nothing like it in football history.
Messi and Ronaldo completely changed the game.
The strength, the passion, the fierce polarisation made this a unique rivalry.
Their goal-scoring record is just phenomenal.
Lionel Messi shows his genius. Bicycle kick from Ronaldo.
They have that obsession that lives and breathes inside of them.
They made the impossible feel like it was possible.
The Ballon d'Or became a private competition.
Bravo. It was an unbelievable fight with them.
They became the most followed people on social media.
For the first time, the world divided itself with players.
You've got them over there for Messi, them over there for Cristiano.
Messi's the GOAT. Messi and Ronaldo have achieved a level of fame that even presidents and popes have never matched.
We shared this stage 15 years, the same two guys, so it's not easy.
They are special. It's not normal to be on this level all these years.
Es algo único. The question is, how have they shaped an entire era of football just by being at each other's throats?
It will be difficult to see something like this ever again.
Good evening from the Nou Camp for what everyone hopes is a breathless night of excitement in the Champions League. It's Barcelona against Manchester United. Ronaldo and Rooney against Messi and Deco. Throwing the likes
Back in 2008, football was desperate for a superstar. The era of the Brazilian Ronaldo, David Beckham, and Zinedine Zidane had passed. We were waiting for a new generation of star to emerge. That's right when Messi and Ronaldo came along.
In 2008, semi-finals of the Champions League, that was the first time Cristiano and Messi faced each other on the pitch.
Rooney then with a corner, and it comes into the centre, diving header from Ronaldo, shouts for handball, it's a penalty!
At 20 and 23, Messi and Ronaldo are already lauded as the best young players in the world, but we haven't yet reached that point at which they are incontestably the elite of world football.
100,000 pairs of eyes looking down on Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, and he's put it wide! He hit the stanchion and it's bounced away!
We were starting to see the beginnings of the rivalry in terms of how people talked about Ronaldo's physical prowess versus Messi's skill as a dribbler.
They were such different characters. Two players who have absolutely everything in the world at their feet.
Full time in the Nou Camp, Barcelona 0, Manchester United 0.
Cristiano was the first player that I saw take different components of what makes a footballer great. He had that obsession with being at the top. He wanted to be the best player in the world.
Messi, con 16 años, ya veías algo diferente, ¿no? Sino la intensidad en lo que hacía, ¿no?
Leo, he was one of our key players. We needed him at that time.
Una agresividad ofensiva que no la había visto en mi vida. Es la sensación esa de y te recorto otra vez y te meto gol. In the second leg played at Old Trafford, Portugal scored the only goal and Manchester United went on to the final.
Manchester United are through to their Champions League final, their dearest wish.
You could see that Messi's already the best in La Liga and Cristiano the best in the Premier League. And to see those two kids on the pitch together was the sign of something to come.
I never met a young player that was so confident in knowing what he wanted. The moment he came to Manchester United, it was just for him a logical step to become the best footballer in the world.
None of us had really played with anybody like that before. So Alex Ferguson said, listen, we're building a team now around the likes of myself, and Wayne Rooney as well. And Cristiano was the heartbeat.
Moving to Manchester United was huge for a young boy. You don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you've got these huge characters in a dressing room. For Cristiano, that was a massive challenge.
There's enormous talent there. He's not fazed by anything.
Every dressing room, particularly that Manchester United dressing room, is a school of hard knocks. The most common phrase would be that he played as something of a show pony.
Sir Alex Ferguson was the key. He took him under his wing. It was tough love at times, but it was also, I really care about you.
The most important message was, Cristiano, you are a special player. You can do special things. However, it is important that those special things are put towards the team, that we benefit from it all together.
He changed his playing style and realised it wasn't about putting the camera on him and his stepovers all the time.
He embraced everything that would make him a better player. Bringing him from somebody that could score a goal to a goal scorer.
He went from being a gawky Bambi, not too sure on his legs, to being the dominant alpha male at Manchester United.
2008, we won the Premier League, but you need to do it in the Champions League to be cemented as a great team. If you get your hands on that trophy, you elevate yourself then to be part of the elite.
Brown and Scholes linking up down this near side. Brown with a left-footed ball! Cristiano Ronaldo heads Manchester United into the lead!
And for Cristiano, on top of that, he wanted to be the best player in the world.
Van der Sar denies Anelka. Manchester United once again become champions of Europe.
He didn't want us to be saying it, which we were. He's the best in the world, he's the best. He wanted it to be confirmed.
It's very beautiful.
To be part of history, which is that Ballon d'Or.
The Ballon d'Or represents the confirmation that you are the best in the world.
Bravo.
When he won that, you could see that it was like, I should win it, I deserve to win it.
Uma infância feliz.
80,000 people were
to beat Real Madrid, to beat this Real Madrid with Cristiano.
That's never ever happened in the history of the game where the two best players in the world were actually in the same league, fighting for the same titles.
In Spain, you've got two huge teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona. These two incredible arch rivals. You knew that this rivalry was about to be turbocharged.
Sigue Cristiano, gol, 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 gol. Queda atrás para Messi, golazo. Gol, gol, gol.
Que se iban mirando un poco de tal.
Claro, vos veías a uno a Chris que hacía hat-trick el sábado y el domingo jugaba el Barça y Leo hacía hat-trick como si nada.
Ha marcado Messi.
Even though it was one of the best seasons of Real Madrid in the history of La Liga, it was just not enough to beat Barcelona.
Messi curls it. Brilliant!
Barcelona were playing a brand of football which was electric and it was adored.
Ahí está Messi. Encarando Messi, puede marcar el cuarto.
Even Real Madrid fans would admit that that Barcelona 2008-2010, it was impossible to stop.
El Barcelona, campeón de Liga.
Messi seemed to be winning hands down to Cristiano Ronaldo, which, of course, Cristiano hated.
That was a moment of recognition that Real Madrid had to act. They needed to do something big to be able to rival Barcelona and Messi.
The self-styled special one, Jose Mourinho, will be introduced as the new Real Madrid coach on Monday. Mourinho has left in...
Jose Mourinho had won the treble with Inter in 2010. He was a man who understood how to defeat that style of play that was so tremendous under Pep Guardiola.
You knew that this was the moment where the excitement, the fun was about to begin. It was the perfect storm.
When Barcelona play Real Madrid, it's called El Clásico. Towards the end of Mourinho's first season, we get an opportunity for Real Madrid to turn the tables on Barcelona. You get 4 Clásicos in just 18 days.
This period of time became almost more important than politics, than culture, than anything. Everything was related to football, this big, fierce rivalry.
For Cristiano was Leo, and for Leo was Cristiano. I need to beat this guy.
Welcome to a resplendent Bernabeu, the scene for tonight's El Clásico encounter.
Cosa és la passió i l'altre el que es va arribar a portar a aquells partits. Pràcticament no podies fer 4 passes seguits. Era una falta, una altra falta.
The referee has pointed to the spot, and it's a red card for Real Albiol.
Jose Mourinho wanted the Real Madrid players to think Barcelona were the enemies.
Pega Messi, gol.
Los dos estaban en Champions, los dos estaban en Copa del Rey, más la Liga. Estaba el Messi versus Cristiano y era todo mucho más fuerte.
The first of 4 El Clásicos over 18 days ends one apiece.
Clásico is always a special game. When you go around the city, the fans say to you, we need to win, this match is too important for us.
Partido complicado, donde era ese Barça y nosotros nada, hacer nuestro fútbol. Así que nada, la verdad que muy feliz por ese título, pero nada, digamos, esos años tuvimos que sufrir y mucho.
I remember being fed up of El Clásico because it became a bit toxic.
Mourinho is there to try and create an environment that allows his team to compete, and that involves this kind of psychological warfare.
Que es criticar el acierto del árbitro.
Era la manera en que Mourinho pretendía calentar el ambiente.
Esto yo nunca había visto, el mundo del fútbol nunca había visto.
Su mentalidad, su forma de ser, el querer llevar al jugador a lo máximo.
What happened in the semi-finals of the Champions League was that Pep Guardiola was drawn